Hey, good morning, everyone. Brian Hoops here with Midwest Market Solutions Market Insider TV. This is our opening commentary, Friday morning, October the 4th. Thanks for joining us this morning as we take a look at our trading day ahead. I'll be doing RFD TV this morning at 8:15 Central Time, as well as next Monday. We'll get the morning teed off and what we can expect with our trade and what the news items are ahead of us. So we had some big news already this morning from an economic standpoint, and now let's get into it and we'll talk about it here. Make sure you sign up for text message service, subscribe to our YouTube videos, as well as Twitter feed to get the latest market information. So Friday, October the 4th here, check of the markets. U.S. dollar screaming higher this morning. It was a little bit softer when most of us woke up this morning or came to work. It was a little bit softer, but we've had the big numbers out this morning, the unemployment numbers. And we'll talk more about that here in a second, but it has caused the dollar index to just soar higher here, and that's not good for the grains. We looked at this on a chart last night, and technically it was breaking out to the upside here, changing the downtrend, and that's not good, as I said, for our grain prices. Crude oil up a little bit again, hovering around 74. It was a little bit higher than this not too long ago before the economic numbers came out, and the stock market is starting to rally. It was virtually unchanged and has added to the day's gains off of this news. So with the higher dollar, we're seeing weakness in gold and in silver here this morning. That's not a surprise to see the dollar higher and see this weakness in here. Now, you look at the overnight grains. Corn down 3 3/4, beans up 1 3/4. The pattern has been to trade lower in the night session in soybeans and then rally, and so we'll see if we change that pattern. And I think you're looking at a situation here this morning where we're going to probably see some weakness throughout the morning session. Just not much in the way of any positive news for the grain trade to trade higher on, and I think this was just kind of a small bounce in the overnight. Meal down $1.07. In fact, the entire soy complex a little bit firmer. But then you get to the wheat, we're down 9 to 10 cents. Oats is down about 8 cents. As I mentioned, corn is down 3 3/4, getting really close to key technical support around 424, and it feels like it could give way this morning unless that 8:30 buying that we've been talking about for 2 weeks comes into the market and lifts things. We may just start to slip even further in here. So let's get into our news, and I know you're interested to see what's been happening overnight. So let's get into it. So first of all, our forecast: continued heavy rains into Brazil for mid-October. Next week, there was some rains yesterday. There's going to be more rain showers next week, and then it looks like that monsoonal, seasonal rain pattern sets in and puts a lot of rain into the forecast. They are planting corn, they're planting soybeans. It's pretty much ideal for their situation right now. They've had some dryness, and that was our pre-harvest or rally. Not much of a post-harvest rally is my anticipation this year. We've seen the rally that we're going to see. So as U.S. weather looks warm and dry over the next 10 days, that should allow this active harvest pace to continue. We've heard, on the plus side, corn is drying down, without putting it into bins and running air on it or drying it. On the negative side, the beans are getting too dry. We've heard some reports of 8 to 10% beans being harvested, even with green stems or leaves on the plants yet. And you're losing bushels when you do harvest at 8 to 10%. That's not ideal whatsoever. So actually soybeans would probably take a little bit of a rain to try and recoup some of that lost moisture. So overnight or late yesterday, pork workers ended their strike and resumed work again. The tentative agreement goes until January 15th. That gives time to finalize the agreement. So they're back to work, very minimal disruptions across the United States. Big news this morning is the U.S. economy adding 254,000 jobs in September. That was way above expectations of 147,000. The unemployment rate fell to 4.1%. That's below expectations, and jobs numbers have beat expectations for the first time since May of this year. Now the argument is, why are we cutting interest rates? And there's no reason to cut rates even further. So I don't think you'll see additional rate cuts. Maybe interest rates actually have to be increased slightly later in the year. But according to these numbers, there's no reason to try and stimulate the economy if we're adding this many jobs and unemployment is falling. Argentina corn planting progress. We're about 10% done there. Last year we were 12, and 17% is the 5-year average. So if they do get some rains, they should catch up very quickly. The last trading day for October live cattle options is today, and then first notice day for October futures is Monday the 7th. Right now, probably not much of a chance of any deliveries for the October contract. Of course, we'll evaluate it once the cash trade comes in. That'll make a big difference. But October futures closed at 186, and the market's trying to have a stronger trade than that this week. 186, 87 is likely in the Southern Plains once we get cash trade going. We just haven't had anything so far this week to speak of. Packers bids have been fairly minimal, and asking prices have jumped from that 185 up to 187 that we saw yesterday. The latest carcass weight's up 3 pounds from last week, 948 pounds. That's 30 above year-ago levels. This is longer-term bearish to the market. The fact that the cutout values and Packer margins are deeply in the red, that's a negative for the market as well. I think Packers will probably cut kills once again to prop up their lost margins, and that means less demand for product. So this is a good rally, I think, to get hedged on. As at some point here, this cash market will start to back off on the Packers slowing their kills. All right, I hope you have a chance to check out RFD this morning, and as always, reach out to us, sign up for our services there. We'd be glad to talk some market strategies with you. Brian Hoops here for Midwest Markets. Have a great day, and good luck on your trades.